Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium for the last time in 2018, and the Royals have a chance to take 3 out of 4 from the Cleveland Indians. Hi everyone, welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel and Monty are coming up in the next segment. We have some news. Ned Yost has signed a 1-year extension, so it's kind of a badly kept secret, but he'll be back in 2019. Also during the game today, Dayton Moore will join us in the 3rd inning. It's hard to describe, Hud. This will always go down as a 100-loss season for the Royals, and yet at the same time, it doesn't feel like it was a bad season.
No, it doesn't at all. Now, you have to admire what Dayton Moore did before the season even started. He said, you know what, we can't start the season with all these young guys. It's hard to win in this game with veterans. We need a couple veteran guys. He went out, signed a Duda, signed the John Jay, signed a few guys that was going to help, and, you know, re-signed Mike Moustakas. Well, things backfired. 7 wins in the first 2 months. That's not going to work. So what it turned out to be, in my opinion and many others, a successful season. Not a good season, but it was a success because the people are going to be leaving this ballpark today, especially the players, with a real nice feeling going into next year.
And let's start talking about some of the individuals who improved. We'll talk hitters in a couple of segments, but coming up, Joel and Monty will talk pitching.
In this last game of the year, and he has been so impressive since coming off of the disabled list. The only thing slowing him down, Mother Nature last time out, shortening what looked like it was going to be another good start. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium, and for the final time out in left field, Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery will be here after the game as well. Monty, you are the pitching expert among other things. So how about, as we look back, your 3 most impressive pitchers for the Royals this year?
Well, I'm going to start with a guy who ended up as a starting pitcher, Brad Keller. Here's a guy that comes in as a Rule 5 guy, and he was an outstanding reliever, no doubt about that, but he was just getting his feet wet in the major leagues, earned himself a chance to go out. He made 20 starts, and to me, he was a pitcher of the year. And then Pete Philmeyer made his debut as a major leaguer this year, but by the end of the season, to me, he showed that he has the ability to go out there and compete and be a very effective starter at the major league level. And I think looking to improve the bullpen, Kevin McCarthy took a step forward now to a guy you know what you're going to get from him. He's a guy that's going to be a consistent performer. Love to see the ground ball rate. He's just a guy that goes out and grinds it out every time he's in the game.
He and then those two rookies, what a season for them. What a season for Whit Merrifield and Adalberto Mondesi. Ryan Lefebvre is back after this break to talk his 3 impressive hitters on the season.
Cade, their Team Up for Down Syndrome Foundation, combined with the Royals, hosting Special Day at the K prior to the final game of the regular season at Kauffman Stadium. It's been a special year. Let's begin with Whit Merrifield. He had 19 home runs last year, and rather than trying to hit more this year, he just hit more doubles, he stole more bases, and he goes into today tied for the major league lead with hits and has the major league lead in stolen bases. And we could go on and on about Adalberto Mondesi and what a September he's had, and he's cracked the top 5 in stolen bases for the season with 31. Hunter Dozier took off when his good buddy Ryan O'Hearn showed up. 22 extra base hits since the All-Star break and playing good defense at third base. Those are just 3 improving hitters in 2018. How about improving pitchers? Eric Skoglund is on that list. He'll start against Carlos Carrasco today. Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, the fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find yours at your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. And what a second half it's been for the Royals. Over the last month, they have the 4th best record in the American League. They have won 15 of their last 19 here at Kauffman Stadium. And if they can beat the division champs today, that'll be 6 straight winning series at home to wrap up the season. The lineups and first pitch are next. Of Royals baseball, and the curtain comes down today. Royals Hall of Famers, baseball Hall of Famers, record holders, recent retirees, and it was great getting reacquainted with some of the either all-time greats, or in the case of like a Chris Young, guys who really stepped up in important seasons for the Royals. And that went on all summer long, and today is the final day, and next year will be year number 51 of Royals baseball, and we've got a great day. It is 75 degrees. It is cloudy at the moment, so that'll keep the glare away, and the Royals have a chance to highlight their excellent second half. If they can win today, they would take 3 out of 4 from the Indians and finish with 6 consecutive home series victories. Most of Terry Francona's regulars will be in there, at least for the early innings, and then we'll see if he makes changes as the Indians prepare for the first round of the playoffs. They'll be in Houston on Friday for the division series. And we could go on and on about individual Royals players, both young and veterans, who improved in the second half. And I'll bet for Eric Skoglund, Hud, he's just happy to be on the mound.
He is, especially a few months ago when he left. He was really bummed because he's thinking, man, I'm going to miss a year with Tommy John. I mean, all the worst case scenario he was leaving with. Finds out it wasn't that way. He's happy, but you know what, though? He's improving. He's making adjustments, and he's loving his second half this season. Fastball location is going to be his key, like it has since he's returned from the disabled list. Opponents hitting only 167 off of his fastball, and that he throws that 50% of the time, 4 and 2 seamers. Forward around the horn, Royals defense. It's been a solid year defensively. That is a Royals signature trait, and it will go on. Phillips out in left field. Alex Gordon taking a chill pill on the last day. Just Phillips' first start in left, but he's had a couple out there with Milwaukee. Escobar very well could be the last time he wears a Kansas City Royals uniform. Let's give him some love today. I tell you what, I want to say thank you personally to all the great plays, the big hits he's gotten. Hopefully he'll land up somewhere else. It could be here, we don't know that, but loving on Esky at third base today.
Well, I mentioned Terry Francona having most of his regulars in there, HUD. They got a scare last night. Jan Gomes, their regular catcher, on a throw to second base, hit his hand on Alex Gordon's bat. He's our University of Kansas Health System injury report update. Stitches on his right thumb, and he'll have just a little less than a week for that to heal.
I thought that thumbnail was ripped off of his thumb, and he had real problems if that happens. Good. That's good news.
Ball 1 to Francisco Lindor. And with the Royals taking 2 out of the first 3, it doesn't hurt that Lindor is just 2 out of 13 in the series. 2 balls and no strikes. Lindor has more home runs and RBIs against the Royals than any other team. And that includes a 7 RBI game here back on July the 2nd.
He's a beast. He's really what Ned Yost hopes Mondesi turns into. 341 from the right side. This is his 174th at bat from the right side. You don't see as many lefties as you do righties, but for that number 341, that's large.
Three balls and 1 strike.
One of the things too that's really important for Lindor, he's told me before, is he likes to keep both his left-handed bat and his right-handed bat, right sides, the same. He keeps he's very similar, a lot like Mondesi. Same mechanics.
Uh-oh. That ball was spinning and whistling. You could almost hear it all the way up here. And if Skoglund could do it again, even though Lindor can run, I think he had a little more time to make sure he secured that ball in his glove.
Skoglund is a fine athlete. He's shown that this season, a little bit last, but he's going to get charged with a knee right here. Yeah, and you know, the spin, Ryan, you're right. Sometimes you put your glove down there when that ball's spinning, the ball hits it and just takes off in a different direction.
What are those little fireworks that you have on the
spinners?
4th of July, you light it and it just spins and whistles and changes colors.
Yeah. That's kind of like it. Good. That's good visual right there.
It was the same sound pretty much.
That's a good visual.
The only difference was it didn't change colors.
Way to go.
Michael Brantley with a runner at first base, and Brantley's just 2 for 8 in the series. That's fouled off the left field line. StatCast AI, powered by AWS.
Pretty nice number there, 24 in the middle. Okay, 24%. When they're not shifting you, it's a good place for hits.
Lindor went on first movement, so Valoria really didn't have much of a chance. That is number 24 for Francisco Lindor.
Great jump. And that's what most base stealers do against left-handed pitching, and they're going to really have a higher success rate, is they leave the very minute the lefty picks up his foot. Skoglund has a high leg kick at times.
Two balls, 2 strikes. The Indians scored in the first inning on Thursday. They scored in the first inning last night, and now they have a runner at second base and nobody out, and that's been a habit for them. They have scored the third most runs in the major leagues in the first inning. They have hit the most home runs in the first inning. Still 2-2.
Yep, they attack right away. They have a powerful offense. Now, I'm not surprised that Brantley's hitting 280 against left-handed pitching, because he keeps his front shoulder so tucked, so closed, and 3 homers. Those are good numbers for a left-handed batter against lefties.
Trying to get a ground ball to the right side. Eric Skoglund took the mound on Tuesday at Cincinnati and was pitching well. He went 2 1/3, gave up just 1 hit, and then the rain arrived. So it was cut short, just 32 pitches. It ended up being a 51-minute rain delay, which in Ned Yost's mind is too long for anybody, and especially someone who's missed over 3 months with a tender elbow. And as Hud mentioned, Eric Skoglund, I'm sure for a while thought his season might be over and might need Tommy John surgery, but he's gotten a second chance and he's made the most of it. A 1.17 ERA in his 4 games since the DL, with only 3 walks.
Yeah, so he did his due diligence on his rehab program, was able to get himself back into shape again, and next thing you know, here he is, new life.
Long at bat, still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This is one thing that we've noticed Cleveland over the years does. They really compete within their at bat. They'll tax a pitch count of a pitcher in a heartbeat. They foul off pitches that are borderline till they wait for the cookie. That's a nice trait that the Cleveland Indians have developed in their winning ways.
Breaking ball, got him looking. Brantley is not so sure, and now Bruce Dreckman, the home plate umpire, hears from the third base dugout. Skoglund wins that long battle with Brantley. It took 9 pitches.
Yeah, look, if you don't hack, sometimes they'll send you back. Brantley, you got to go.
It is, after all, game number 162.
Better hack. Better be hacking. That's called a front door breaking ball. That's not a back door. And it worked.
Jose Ramirez, he had really been struggling until last night, but he had gone over a month hitting about 160, and then last night he had 3 hits, including a double and a home run. And yet, even with that month-long slump, he is in the top 4 in these and many other categories. 1 ball, 1 strike. He is the 3rd Indians player with a 30-30 season, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. Grady Sizemore was one. We were talking about him the other night. He was on his way to Cooperstown, it seemed, before injuries caught up with him. And Joe Carter, who lives here in KC, had a 30-30 season.
Wow.
In '87. There goes Lindor to third, and Valoria again never really had a shot to get him, and will be interesting to see who the air is on there. It's going to be on Escobar, thinking that he applied the tag before he had the ball.
Yep, Escobar knows all about catch and tag, and he knew he had to rush. It's a great jump by Lindor. Ball was a little bit on the dugout side of the bag, so Esky knew he had to get it to him quickly and just whiffed.
So now the Indians have scored in the first inning in 3 of the 4 games.
Haven't seen it all year. 2 errors in the first inning, or even in a game by the Royals. One's unusual.
Royals announced about an hour ago that Ned Yost's return in 2019 is official, signing a 1-year extension. Ramirez was reaching. Brian Goodwin's out in center field today, 2 outs. And Dayton Moore will be joining us here in the booth in the 3rd inning. Talk about that and other 2018 and 2019 topics.
That'll be great.
687 wins for Ned Yost.
It's awesome.
2 outs to Encarnacion, and he takes low for ball 1. Encarnacion has 1 hit and 2 RBIs in this series. Talk about RBI guys and just find ways to drive in runs, and it's not always a 3-run home run. He has 1 extra base hit all year against the Royals, 1, but 9 RBIs. And he gets jammed there and drops one out into left field for a 2-out single.
Well, he's the true definition of a professional hitter. He can play first base when they decide, you know, give him a game to play there, but that's all he does is hit. He knows how to do it. There's a jam shot. He was able to pull his hands in and save his lumber. Bat didn't break, and he was able to fight it off out there.
That'll bring up his former Blue Jays teammate Josh Donaldson, who hit a grand slam here on Friday night. Donaldson has played 15 games with the Indians. He has 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 10 walks. One ball, 1 strike.
And what Donaldson does in that lineup, he lengthens it. He adds more power, more depth in there. And everybody's buying in, because there's one thing that Cleveland wants, and that's a world championship. So you got to all be pulling on the same end of the rope. Kipnis isn't complaining to the media that he's getting moved from second base. Jose Ramirez isn't saying anything about moving from third to second. So they're just saying, all right, whatever it takes, we're going to do it.
And the Royals had a similar situation in 2015 when they went out and got Ben Zobrist, which nobody argued with, but it cost some guys some playing time when Zobrist arrived.
It did. That's what you need. You need team players. That's extremely important in all amateur, but especially professionally. And it's a little different when you're getting paid, because you get paid based on plate appearances and games played and stuff like that. So when you got somebody else coming in taking your money from you, you're like, wow, oh really? Well, yeah, forget it. If you want to stay on this team, we're all pulling on the same end of the rope, and we use that term a lot in 15. Pulling on the same end of the rope.
Out to Mondesi, he'll go the short way, and that's the inning. It was a long inning for Skoglund. 28 pitches, and the Indians get 1. It's a base hit today. That'll be a career high 20-game hitting streak. Witt, as the day began, was tied for first in the major leagues in hits and first in the major leagues in stolen bases with a 1 stolen base advantage. We'll keep you up to date on that as the Royals get ready for Carlos Carrasco.
Yep, turn it up and tune it up. Look at the strikeouts, 225. Believe it, he can bring it. But when he falls behind, hitters know he's coming in there. Look at that average. Get ahead. 335. He's got some really good cheese on his fastball. He's got some mid-90s action. Good secondary pitches, obviously.
That's hit well to right field. Melky Cabrera is back and makes the play. Melky misplayed a Merrifield line drive into a double last night. So 1 down. So here's the Toyota League leaderboard. Freddie Freeman walked in his first plate appearance. And Trey Turner does not have a stolen base. So Witt will become the first Royal to lead his league in hits and stolen bases. And as icing on the cake, he'll try to be top in both of those categories in the entire major leagues.
Phenomenal season for Witt. Keep the hitting streak alive to carry it into next year. That's the whole goal.
Adalberto Mondesi had a huge 3-run home run last night. That broke a 3-3 tie in the Royals' 4-run 6th inning. The Royals scored 8 of their 9 runs last night with 2 outs. And he helped out Carrasco there. 2 balls, 1 strike. So one of 11 players all time with 14 or more home runs, 31 or more stolen bases in their age 22 season, which means they began the season at 22. Mike Trout did it twice.
Didn't he make it look easy?
Yeah.
Right-handed.
21 season and 22 season. And another thing for Mondesi as far as the first ever. He'll be the first in Major League history with 10 or more home runs and 25 or more stolen bases in fewer than 300 plate appearances. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he's relaxed. He's had huge success like you just mentioned, and that's made him confident. He knows what he can do already. Look at how loose his hands are. Dangerous.
And he's had a much better eye in the second half.
Now is where he really becomes dangerous. 1 out. It's over there. Look at Mitch Meyer. Mitch Meyer, basically the first base coach, is to look, get the sign, see what's going on there, remind him about his move. Carrasco is a pretty good athlete. Those are the things first base coach is involved with there. Freeze on the line with less than 2 outs. Don't want to get doubled up. That's what you hear from him.
Salvador Perez bats 3rd today. Alex Gordon is not in the lineup, so Salvi has 1 more game to set his major league record of an increase in home runs in 7 consecutive seasons. Right now he's tied with 3 others for 6 straight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Starting with 3 home runs back in 2011. When he was called up in August, all the way to 27 last year, and he's matched that total this year.
Yeah, it's really an amazing statistic. I'm sure he'd like it, but man, difficult with just 4 at-bats remaining. Carrasco's going to have to oblige him and throw him a cookie right over the middle. Now, Carrasco's a good athlete. You just saw his move there, but base stealers have been successful 13 of 17 times against him this year. If you get a good jump.
1-2 strikes.
Salvi can hit home runs to the opposite field here at the K, but it's not easy, especially today with the wind blowing from the right field foul pole to the left. It's going to be tough to get it out there. His bread and butter is look for a pitch inside and turn and burn. Get underneath it. It's going to help him, the wind is, on the pull side. Ryan talked about the elements of the game early. It's overcast sky, which is really good for the defenders. They're not going to have to worry about the sun, but the other element is always the wind.
And just as we described that, the sun breaks through the overcast, at least temporarily, as Salvi takes a called third strike. Not going to last very long.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Carrasco is really good as far as his strikeout count. He's got an excellent slider.
So the sun may be ducking in and out of the clouds today. Outside to Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan had an impressive night last night in that he had 3 frustrating at-bats. His first 3 times up against Corey Kluber, and then it looked like it could get even worse when Andrew Miller came in. But Ryan ended up with an RBI single in the 6th inning. There goes Mondesi, and the throw by Haas hits him, and that'll be his 32nd stolen base. And he's back in a tie with Whit Merrifield with 27 since the All-Star break.
Sliding on your left leg like that leaves you exposed, your whole front side. That's the only thing that concerns me a little bit on the bases. See that? He doesn't have an ear flap on that side of his helmet. I'd like him to see if he wore the double ear flap, just to keep the ball from hitting him. That's why I teach young players to slide on your right side. Your back's to every throw, second, third, and home. But some guys are that's just what they feel comfortable with. But the way he's going to steal, and they're going to be trying to throw him out. It's dangerous when he's exposed to the throw.
And I'm thinking too, if you're sliding in with your back to home plate, you can almost create a little barrier on low throws.
No
coming
question
from the catcher.
Oh, without a doubt. And another thing too that's important for a guy that can really run is you see the ball when it goes to the outfield. That's the biggest thing. You slide, gets by the guy, it's right there. You're up and on to third in a heartbeat. You can be a great asset to your ball club with a good speed. Obviously, it's natural, but the instinctive base running is important. Doing the little things.
All right, there you have it, dads and coaches.
If you can, when they're
sliding
young.
in on your right side.
That's right.
Lifted to left. And Brantley makes the catch. And that's the inning. A walk and a stolen base for Mondesi. And the Indians lead 1-0 at the end of 1.
1-2 in stolen bases with Merrifield, along with Adalberto Mondesi, and on most days the double play combination for Ned Yost. Joel Goldberg back here at Kauffman Stadium. Had the chance this morning to talk with first-year base running coach and first base coach Mitch Meyer, and understandably he loves these two guys more than anyone, and perhaps the ones that hate Mondesi, and that might be the right word to use, and Merrifield the most, is opposing pitchers. Talking to Mitch, what he's been most impressed with, we know these guys can run, is the way that they can process information. We've talked before about Mondesi getting used to things at the big league level, and he's really understanding how to read pitchers now. And Mitch saying that in Merrifield's case, he goes home at night and studies guys. When he shows up to work the next day, he already has those keys down. Bottom line, with those two players at the top of the lineup, they are making a lot of pitchers feel uncomfortable.
Whew. There's nothing worse for a defense. Forget the pitcher. The defenders behind him, they're all going, oh man, they're looking at each other, moving in. They're giving up ground for more base hits to get through. Speed really wreaks havoc on everybody on the other side of the ball.
3-2 on Diaz. And how about the effect it has on the hitters hitting behind them? A lot more pitches to hit, in theory.
Exactly.
A lot more fastballs. Diaz is on with a leadoff walk.
Folks, as you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in today's game.
The best I ever saw at that HUD was these Cleveland Indians. When they had Lofton, Vizquel, and Alomar as their first three hitters, that was the most stressful first three hitters in a lineup I've ever seen.
No
because
question.
They could bunt, they could steal, they could hit and run. By the end of their time together, Lofton and Vizquel were even hitting for some power. And as soon as a pitcher could navigate through those three guys, well, then you got Tomey coming up, and Ramirez, and Juan Gonzalez one year, Albert Bell. I mean,
that's a manager's dream to have a lineup like that. Table setters and table cleaners. It was tough. I played second base against those guys. I know it was not easy. The others was the Cardinals in the National League. When I was at the Expos, they had Vince Coleman leading off. They had Ozzie Smith was up there 1-2. Willie McGee. All three of those guys was a pain in the neck. They hit me a little routine ball at shortstop. I even cheated and moved in. Two-hopper on turf. I pick up the ball and I look to my target at first, and they're 3 steps from the bag. It's not fair. How could that happen? That's how quick they were. Amazing on turf. Speed game.
Melky Cabrera, a diving play by O'Hearn, and the Royals get the force at second base. Good for him. He's had a rough stretch recently on defense, and that was a huge play.
Was by both guys. Just to snag that, I thought that was in left field. Right field all the way. Now you get one for sure. Mondesi, good job of not expecting a perfect throw. So Mondesi did a nice job on the other end. You got to get one. So he was ready for the bad throw. O'Hearn, he's going to have to work on a few things. His throwing stroke is going to be one of them. And he can do it. He's a good enough athlete. Sometimes when you get the yips, that happens. He'll get over that. He's too good a player, too good an athlete.
Two 2-0 on Jason Kipnis. With all the Indians that are stumbling to the finish line, Kipnis has picked it up over his past 11 games as he has lost playing time. Squirts it out to Witt. Mondesi, tough play. It was moving in one direction. to get the throw, and then had to plant and throw back in the opposite direction, and Kipnis is safe at first.
That's why you have the athletes in the middle, so they can stop and turn and move left and right, throw off the run. Yeah, and when you shift, you know, it's sort of playing out of position. Do the best you can.
Eric Haas is the Indians catcher today. This is just his 9th game and 13th at bat. Drafted by the Indians out of high school in 2011. Drafted out of high school in Michigan, but he had committed to Ohio State before signing with the Indians. So he would have had some splaining to do had he not signed with the Indians.
That's for sure.
One ball, one strike.
Good stroke. I like his lumper. That bat, flame tempered. You could see the grain on it. Very clear. That's a beauty. You see that he has the cupped. They call that the cupped end of the bat, and that's what Alex Gordon was using last night when on the follow through when Yan Gomes hit it and cut his thumb.
1-2. There's Alex taking in the game today from the first base dugout.
What a outstanding second half he had. He can be so proud of himself going into the offseason and coming into his final year in his contract. He's got nothing but great things to think about in helping his team develop into another championship core, some of those guys.
And the big number was he was not producing a lot of hard contact in the first half, but he had the 3rd highest line drive rate in the major leagues in the second half. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Just great to see him relaxed and having fun again on the field. And from day one, he never wavered on defense ever. In matter of fact, he improved. He got better on defense. That's hard to say. A guy like Alex with his service time, you don't see guys like that getting better. He did. It's credit to his work habits.
Haas, nice big hop for Eske. He'll go to second, and that's the inning. Skoglund gets around the leadoff walk. The Indians lead 1-0 to the bottom of the second. Matthew 22 years ago. Debbie founded Inclusion Connections to provide educational, employment, and independent living opportunities to those with special needs. She believes kids with intellectual disabilities should be included in every part of community life and encouraged to achieve their full potential. And she and Matthew are sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seats at today's game.
Oh, fantastic. Part of our special day at the K is we select somebody in the special needs community that makes a difference. And Debbie certainly has. They make it possibilities. They make dog treats. And for anybody that wants to purchase and help the special needs community, especially, go online at pawskc.org. pawskc.org. And these treats that they make are fantastic. The dogs love them.
pawskc.org.
pawskc.org. Look at some of these treats, Rhino. Check them out.
I'll eat one of those right now.
Happy holidays. It's all good. Folks, go online and get you some and make a difference in the special needs community. Thank you so much. pawskc.org. I'm going to college.
Yeah, you wanted
I got to go back to school.
Add that extra S in there.
I don't know what's wrong with me today.
I've had a busy day, Hud.
Thank you very much, Bud. And we thank you, all those out there, and especially Debbie Horn, making a difference.
Goodwin pulls it on the ground to second, and Ramirez throws him out, 2 away. And now Carrasco will get Alcides Escobar. He gets a little extra cheer with the fans realizing that this may be his last game with the Royals. I'll admit, this game last year, when we were saying goodbye to all the upcoming free agents, and remember they came off the field together and every guy got a standing ovation. Eric Hosmer hit a home run.
Curtain call special.
I mean, it was just, very emotional for the fans, for the players. If you had asked me a year ago which two were least likely to come back, I would have said Alcides Escobar and Mike Moustakas, the two guys who did come back.
Yeah.
Because, well, maybe not a year ago, but early last season, because the Royals had Chesler Cuthbert, they had Hunter Dozier, they appeared to be covered at third. And they had Mondesi, who started the year last year as a second baseman, shifting over to short.
That was logical.
Yeah. And as it turned out, those were the two guys who did come back.
Yeah, and you know what? It ended up being good for Escobar because Ned Yost, after they finished with his consecutive game streak, then they developed him into a utility player they knew he could be. Center field, anywhere in the infield you can play him, and it's given him an opportunity to play a few more years in his career.
I was listening to him chat with Steve Stewart on radio after the game last night, and on more than one occasion he talked about his approach in the second half, which is 100 points better as far as batting average than the first half.
That's huge, and it's not easy to pull up your average when you have at least 200 at bats. It's tougher. It doesn't go up as high. That's why important starts are huge.
Fouled back to the screen. Dayton Moore is going to join us in the top and third and bottom of the third innings. For the top and the bottom of the third inning. You know what I meant.
Sure. Look. You're always on. It's outstanding.
Base hit for Eske. So now he's hitting 300 since the All-Star break, and he's hit an 8 straight.
How about a little change-up? It didn't do a whole lot. It ran in some, but Eske barreled it. Good swing. Right on top of it.
Outside to Brett Phillips. He played in the game on Thursday. Good movement. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillips has played primarily center field and right field for the Royals. Ned Yost has him out in left today. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Athletes can play anywhere, especially if you're right-handed. Left-handed throwers, a little bit different. They can't catch. They don't catch in the big leagues. They don't play in the middle infield, and it's in a third.
Down goes Phillips. Carrasco has struck out 2, and at the end of 2, the Indians lead 1-0. Third inning, and Dayton Moore joins us for the third. And Hud and I have been talking about this. I've talked about this with Ned. You and I talked on radio today about how, you know, if you didn't watch this season, both halves, you know, well, it's a 100-loss season. That's, you know, a bad season for the Royals. How do you it's hard to combine 100 losses with a successful season, but it feels that way.
Well, I mean, obviously we're not where we want to be. We're not proud of our record, but we are very encouraged with the group of players that are out there on the field right now. You know, every year it doesn't go to script. It doesn't go the way you want it, but you always have some surprises along the way. And you know, we've had some guys step up and do pretty good.
Speaking of not wanting to go on the script, Francisco Lindor hits a line drive home run to left field. You know, and really when you break down what happened this year, you know, if you had known before opening day that this team was going to lose 100 games, and the 3 guys that you really wanted to get playing time this year, Cuthbert, Soler, and Bonifacio, were all going to either play half a season or less. I mean, you would think, oh my gosh, this is going to be a dreadful season, but there have been some pleasant surprises along the way. Right.
You know, and you know, we feel really good about Jorge Soler. We feel really good about Bonifacio, and you know, Cuthbert unfortunately had the back injury. He's going to be playing winter ball. We'll get a chance to watch him play in Mexico, and you know, we're still encouraged with him. He's progressing fine, but you're right, and again, that goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, the season's very unpredictable. The game of baseball changes minute to minute, hour by hour, day by day, and when it does change, other players get opportunity. And you know, Hunter Dozier's came up and been outstanding, and Ryan O'Hearn is really showed you know, some progression that And we saw some of that in spring training, of course, but he's come up and done it here at the major league level, and so that's been encouraging. We like what Gallagher and Valoria have provided, for us in a backup role. With the catching depth, that's really important. Over 162 games, as you know. We're very encouraged and enthused the way Alex Gordon has played this second half. It's been fun to watch. And then, of course, what can you say about Whit Merrifield? I mean, Whit is he's been spectacular. And the other day when we had the rain delay in Cincinnati, Marty Brennan and Steve Stewart were doing an interview, and I think it was taped a while back, and Marty was talking about the grit and the toughness of Pete Rose. And when he get 2 hits, he wanted 3, and when he wanted 3 hits, he wanted 4. And I immediately thought of Whit Merrifield, because that's Whit Merrifield's mindset to this game. He's never satisfied. He just keeps pushing, and that's why he's having the type of season he is, and he's had, and that's why he is the type of player he is.
Dayton, you got to be really impressed with some of the pitchers that you've hit on. You can't hit with every player's not going to make it in the time that they're supposed to make it. But the fact that Keller has stepped up and been the most consistent starter all year long, a Rule 5 guy. Have you ever had a Rule 5 besides Soria that has been so successful?
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, we've had some success with the Rule 5 picks. Gene Watson, our professional director of scouting, does an unbelievable job. All of our pro scouts who are constantly evaluating players with that in mind, that they know we want to be aggressive in the Rule 5 draft. And so what Brad Keller's done has been amazing. We got Cal Eldred. We made him a part of that decision process when we identified some pitchers that we were considering prior to selection, and Cal certainly was on board with Brad, and that's a big part of the Rule 5. You got to have a manager and a pitching coach, or a manager and a hitting coach that really understand that the evolution and what's required to develop and transition a Rule 5 pick into the major leagues. And so a lot of credit goes to them. Of course, Brad Keller gets all the credit because he's the one that had to go out here and perform it.
Brantley runs, and Valoria's throw fortunately hits Brantley. Otherwise, that might have rolled into center field. So Brantley's at second base with 1 out. I remember early in the year when the team was really struggling and not scoring any runs, and talking to Ned, and Ned kept reminding me and our fans, the coaching staff is working hard every day. They're out there every day. They're trying to get better every day. This is going to improve. Just kept saying that over and over again. And I wonder where the coaching staff ranks as far as so-called player or pitchers of the year.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm up in the baseball operations suite every day, usually around 2:30. And primarily for the purpose to get away and think a little bit, but I can also observe everything that is going on the field. And so I'm up there, I'm able to witness, all the work that's being done in early work before most people show up. And I see Terry Bradshaw out there with the machine and working on curveballs and having guys work on driving the ball the other way. I see Mitch out there working on, bunting for hits and sack bunts, and Jersh and Dale Swaim working with Hunter Dozier and Ryan O'Hearn and Whit Merrifield and the infield play. And of course, Mitch is out there working on routes in the outfield and accurately throwing to bases and hitting cutoff men and doing things on the bases as well with primary and secondary leads and steal breaks and going first to third. And those are things that obviously lead to success. And what it also does, it creates a mindset in the player that you've got to prepare each and every day if you want to have a long-term successful career in the major leagues. So you're understanding that just because you're in the major leagues, now it's just beginning. And this is where a lot of the major development begins in today's game. It really is. There's so much development that occurs at the major league level. When you broke in, you got up here, you were expected to play and perform, and it still is that way to a certain degree.
But I had 10 years of minor league. I knew how to play the game when I got here.
But the other thing that's happening in our game, and I was talking to Mr. Glass about this yesterday, we need to do a much better job. And when I say we, I'm talking about the Kansas City Royals. What other organizations do, that's their business. But we want to make sure we're keeping our players in the minor leagues maybe a year and a half longer than maybe some people would say they're ready to come to the major leagues for that reason. And so they come up here, they're hungrier, they know that there's an expectation level, and they've really had to earn their opportunity at the major league level, just like Witt did, just like Ryan and Hunter and Bonifacio, and you know, Mondy's taken his lumps. I mean, he's had a lot of, you know and I know that he's laid a bed at night saying, am I really a major league player? You know, there's a lot of expectations on me, but can I really do it up here? And now that he's doing it, you know, he's hungry to get to the ballpark every day and perform and put on a show for our great fans.
We'll continue with Dayton Moore when we get to the bottom of the third. Dayton Moore, after the team won the World Series, I remember it was a day or two afterward, and I was driving around town and listening to the radio, and Ned was a guest, and all the congratulations and the parade, and the question was asked, how much longer do you want to do this? And he says, I think I want to do this 3 more years. So that would have been 16, 17, and 18. And he was signed through this year. And up until this year, Ned talked a lot about being done and he was going to move on and go to the farm. But then this year, all of a sudden, the tone seemed to change. And he started talking a lot about 2019. And, well, it's official today. He's going to be back.
Yeah, we're pleased with that. You know, Ned and I spoke in spring training. We spoke again in April. And we both agreed, let's just get through the season, and then, you know, we'll figure out where we are. I mean, there's so much preparation that goes into it. And, you know, I wanted to be able to sit down and talk to Ned with really complete and accurate information about where we are as an organization and what we need going forward. And as you know, I spent a lot of time in the minor leagues this year. I spent a lot of time analyzing and working with the draft and planning for the future. And you know, we just felt that we both really enjoy working with each other, and we need Ned to continue to do this job. He wants to do this job, and so we're excited to be able to make that announcement for sure.
You know, what all is involved with your relationship? Do you talk to him every day? Like will you go 3 or 4 days sometimes without talking? Share with the fans.
It depends. Yeah, that's a great question. It just kind of depends on what we're going through. I mean, sometimes I'll speak to Ned, you know, once or twice a day, maybe 3 or 4 times a day, just depending on, you know, what we're experiencing, what we're going through. Feedback from our scouts, getting feedback from the coaching staff. Of course, that's more around the trade deadline, etc. And then, you know, it's and then everything's, you know, once we get into August and we have a pretty good game plan, I mean, it might be 2 or 3 days. And now we'll text quite a bit, just updating on certain things and injuries and so forth. But, you know, we've worked together so long. There's a rhythm to you know, how we do things and communicate. And but it's been a joy working with Ned.
You got Witt at the plate right now, trying to extend his hitting streak to 20 games, and you spent a lot of time talking about him last half inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So this turnaround, 41 games under 500 in the first half, 4 under in the second half. But where do we need to get better next year for this to continue to move forward?
Well, you've got to be strong in all areas if you're going to win Major League Baseball games, because your opponent at this level will expose every weakness that you have. And so it's important for us to be very balanced. It's important for us to win in multiple ways. You know, the immediate identification, if you will, is our bullpen. I mean, we need to be more consistent there. We understand that. Bullpens perform, you know, up and down from year to year at times, but we're going to go to work and do our best to be really aggressive and come in, have a lot of arms coming into spring training competing. We feel like we have some rotation depth. We like that. We feel like that we have you know, some speed and athleticism on the team. We would like to continue to improve that, however. And you know, so, but really the bullpen is the major area that we need to do a much better job of if we're going to match up better the last third of a baseball game.
We've got 2 outs here with Mondesi at the plate, so we'll be careful and not dive into something else too quickly. And there's a ground ball back to Carrasco, and that's the inning. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has. Yep. It's been a fun year. It's been a year that we're very proud of. We feel like that things are moving in the right direction, and looking forward to, you know, what we can do this off season, spring training, Fan Fest. It's all going to be fun.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan.
Right.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Hud.
Thank you. Folks, save the date for the Royals annual Fan Fest on Friday, January 25th and Saturday, January 26th, presented by Commerce Bank. Take a break from the cold weather, enjoy autograph sessions, interactive games, and player interviews at the Kansas City Convention Center.
That's to the gap off the bat of Yandy Diaz. He's had a heck of a year against the Royals, and he's on with a leadoff double.
He could swing the bat.
Well, it was good chatting with Dayton for an inning, and one of the most enjoyable things I do every week is interview him on Sundays on radio, and I get a lot of compliments, and this isn't false humility. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with me. I can ask him anything, and before we do an interview, I've got my little list of topics that I want to go over, and I can tell you right now, he has never once said, I don't want to talk about that, ever. I mean, I think his feeling is, if that's a question that needs to be answered, if that's something our fans want to know more about, then we need to talk about it. And we're very fortunate to have, aside from his skills as a baseball general manager, to be fortunate to have someone who is as transparent as he is.
Yep, absolutely. That, you know what, that goes right along with his character. He's a man of character. No, obviously he's not afraid of anything, and he's right up front. Just absolutely love that. That's why so many people in baseball want to work for Dayton Moore and the Kansas City Royals. Believe me, this is a sought-after place of employment because of his leadership. Family first, and that's real. Some places you go, they go, oh, you know, we like to include your family, but they never do.
Right.
They say that. Okay, it's all talk. He backs it up.
I mean, there are many places we go on the road, and you can just feel that everyone is just miserable. There's a culture of fear. Everyone's afraid to say the wrong thing or look at the wrong person or ask the wrong question. And now Dayton's over with Denny. I have a funny story about this interview, by the way. Dayton and Denny. First the 1-2. Whoa. A near strikeout. Eric Skoglund wants to know why Bruce Dreckman didn't follow through with ringing up Melky Cabrera. He was about to.
Look at that right arm went up. Oh no, sorry, just kidding.
And he looked up, and Melky was looking right at him.
There's eye contact.
Grounded foul. So I go into Dayton's suite and to do our interview today, and he's in there talking with Denny. So I didn't want to interrupt, and just kind of hanging around, and they were just having a baseball discussion. Denny was very interested in, you know, who the toughest players are on this team. Shallow right center field. Goodwin wants it. Diaz tags and holds, and a good one hop throw to the plate. One down. So anyway, Denny just hung out in the suite. We did the interview, and he was getting up to leave afterwards, and he said, you know, I've never interviewed you before. And Dayton said, come on, I mean, we've done caravans, and we've done hot stove shows together, and Fan Fest, and Denny's, no, we've never done a one-on-one interview before. So Dayton said, all right, well, we're going to do it today.
I like it.
So there you go.
That's awesome.
They're getting their first interview done right now.
And I've heard some. We had a couple national games off. Watch out up there. We had a couple national games, you know, where we were off at home, and I listened to the broadcast. And Denny was with Hal McRae, and he had Big John Mayberry in there. And sometimes he said, you know what, if anything exciting happens on the field, I'll tell you. But he just got into his interview, and he's probably doing the same thing with Dayton.
Yep.
Love to hear that. But you and Denny are quite alike, so we heard it up here for a couple innings. It's really good to hear from the boss and hear where he's moving, and he knows it's all about the pin to win.
Yeah. And he's built some good ones in the past, that's for sure.
I'll say. I tell people, Dayton Moore has the blueprint of a World Series championship, how to build it from the ground up. It's the truth.
Blocked by Valoria. 1-2 on Kipnis.
Slider, thumbs out, use the chest protector. Can't control where it goes, but you have quick feet like that, no advancement.
And Kipnis is down on strikes. Number 3 for Skoglund, 2 down. Let's go to Joel.
Well, this is an exciting day and our showstopper as we look at the 4 games that have a lot on the line. Brian Dozier, remember the longtime Twin going over to the Dodgers, just a small part of their offense. They are up 10-0 against the Giants. But the Rockies are up 4-0 right now. So if both of them win, they will battle for the division tomorrow at Dodger Stadium. Loser goes to the wild card. The Milwaukee Brewers are up 2-0 right now. Mike Moustakas had an early RBI. They're up over Detroit in the 4th. The Cubs right now trail St. Louis, but Ben Zobrist just got them on the board with a triple, so that score is 2-1. If both of those teams win or lose, they'll play at Wrigley tomorrow. If it stands right now, Milwaukee wins and the Cubs lose, the Brewers get the division and the Cubs head to the wild card. A lot of former Royals involved in this.
High pop-up off the bat of Haas. And O'Hearn to the line and now back in fair territory. So Skoglund with a runner at third and nobody out gets a fly ball, a strikeout, and a pop-up, and the Indians come up empty. Especially in the second half. Remember the back-to-back home runs, O'Hearn and Dozier to beat Cody Allen and these Indians.
Never forget it.
And Michael Gibbons, who had given the Royals fits. He was the victim of a walk-off. And Salvador Perez with a walk-off grand slam against Minnesota. All of that this past month.
Just really enough excitement and enough show of talent to capture our new generation of Royals fans' imagination and go, you know what? We see it coming. We've heard them talk about it, but now we see it. And, you know, one of the things I wanted to ask Nate, but didn't have a chance to, was to talk about how hard it is as a position player to establish yourself up here when you're thrown into the fire like Dozier. Dozier, our first baseman, Lucas Duda, got hurt. Dozier was summoned. He didn't play any first base all year. He'd been playing third and outfield. So they threw him in over there, and then it's hard for him to knock in a run. He couldn't knock in a run for 2 months. Then all of a sudden, he started, you know, feeling better and more comfortable. That's how it takes a long time in this game. And then it's like he flipped on a switch, and here he comes. And that's a credit to him, because he's worked hard at it. But I tell you how hard the game is to be able to get it. You don't just get it in one game or 2 weeks.
And there were a lot of minor league games and minor league at-bats leading up to that. And remember, Dayton was sharing with us that he's told Mr. Glass he wants guys in the minor leagues a year or a year and a half longer.
I loved it when I heard that, because you know, you learn so much down there without the pressure, without all of the social media stabbing on you and stuff like that, negativity.
Broadcasters railing on you
exactly.
on TV every night.
Yeah. We really rail on our guys, don't we?
3-2 on Salvi. Carrasco struck him out in the first inning. Carrasco's allowed 1 base runner so far, and that was Mondesi's walk in the first. You know, and it's if you think about it, it's really not a coincidence that just about every Royal, especially position players that have been called up the past few years, have done pretty well right away. Mondesi may be an exception. I don't think the Royals rushed him last year. I mean, he clearly won the job in spring training a couple of years ago, but he just wasn't ready yet. Salvia is down on strikes. But I say it's not a coincidence because part of what some of these so-called younger guys are doing now, and I'll throw Witt into that category because he doesn't have a ton of major league experience despite his age. But when you're winning at the major league level, you're not rushing up young guys to the major league level. The stability at the major league level allows your crops on the farm, so to speak, to have a little bit more time to grow.
Exactly.
You don't have to pull them out of the ground quicker than they're ready, as the Royals have done, you know, years and years ago. So when they get here, it's hard, but it's not overwhelming.
It's well put.
2 balls and no strikes on O'Hearn. He flied out to left field in the first inning. That's well hit to center field. Kipnis is to the track to make the play. There's a bit of a crosswind that may have knocked that down some. 2 down. Let's go to Joel.
Well, I've been talking a little bit about off-season plans for players. Rosell Herrera, first and foremost, is just excited to get home to the Dominican because he's never been able to bring his baby, who was born in this off-season, back home to the Dominican. His wife has been staying with family in New Jersey, so he's going to head there tomorrow, pick up the family, head home to the Dominican, show his parents their new baby granddaughter. So really excited about that. And then, like Jorge Bonifacio, he's going to start focusing on the offseason. He'll play for a different Winter League team in the Dominican than what Bonifacio does. He'll play for Gigantes, and he'll have some Royals teammates on there. He was telling me that Ryan O'Hearn, Bubba Starling, Elier Hernandez, who is a prospect, and Ramon Torres will be teammates of his about an hour and a half from home. So he'll stay in that city and get some more action in winter ball and try to get himself ready for 2019.
Joel, that was really good. Baseball is a sport where you have to play it to get better. It's a routine. We all know it's about timing. Good for them. Short time in your career, better make the most of it.
Power Days. And brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. Francisco Lindor is a true leadoff man today. He led off the game reaching with an error. He stole 2 bases and scored, and then he led off the 3rd with a home run. And now 2 balls, no strikes, leading off the 5th. His home run is our ram drive of the game.
Oh man, look at that, off his back leg totally, all the leverage on the front side. Beautiful swing. Wasn't bad location either.
That was his 20th home run and 60th RBI in his career against the Royals. And now he's on with a 4-pitch walk. And is Skoglund's 2nd today. Skoglund, Hud, strikes me today as not having his best stuff, but he's finding a way to get through it. He hasn't had a clean inning yet. He has thrown a lot of pitches. He's had to deal with the leadoff man on the entire game, but so far he's given up just 2 runs.
No, and the main thing, you see that a lot. It's impossible for a starter to have his game every single time out there, every 5th day. And the ones that do end up winning 20 games or more, and they become a Cy Young Award winner. So what do you do in between? You do the best you can to keep your team in the game, and that's what managers appreciate. Teams in the game, the Royals. They're one big hit away from tying it up. They're going ahead.
Oh, 1-1 on Brantley. One ball, 1 strike. Brantley's a tough guy to strike out. In fact, the 2nd toughest in the major leagues behind Andrelton Simmons, but Skoglund got him looking in the 1st inning on a game 162 strike zone.
Yeah.
It took 28 pitches for Skoglund to get through the 1st. That really spiked his overall pitch count with 80 now with nobody out in the 5th. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Skoglund now, he's making an adjustment as far as his look over there to hold the base runner. He's barely lifted up his foot, mixing a little slide step. That's what you got to do. Lindor ripped off his 24th bag earlier, and he says, Skoglund's saying, hey, look, not as easy this time.
Slide step, and Brantley rolls it out to Witt. Out at 2nd, and just in time for a double play.
Lottery replay shows a beautiful pitch right here on the inside, jammed him a little bit. It's a good pitch. He hit it on the ground. Witt for 1, Merrifield for 2. Excuse me, Mondesi for 2. Good turn. Routine.
Jose Ramirez with 2 down, nobody on. He is flied to center and flied to left. One ball, 1 strike. And another ball hit in the air by Ramirez. Routine for Herrera. So a leadoff walk The double play helped, and Skoglund faces only 3 on 11 pitches in the 5th.
Jersey, black bill cap, drawstring bag, 2 compression sleeves, 2 ticket vouchers, and much more. Purchase your discounted membership now at the stadium or online with the Royals.com/Blue Group.
Royals are still looking for their first run against Carlos Carrasco. They have 1 hit and a batter reaching with a walk. Escobar has the hit. Mondesi has the walk. And Carrasco has set down 11 of the last 12. Two balls, 2 strikes.
You want to know why Carrasco is so good? It's because look at the arsenal he has. He mixes them all up. Those percentages are all pretty good. 4 seam there to the slider. But you know that slider, like most pitchers, the off-speed pitch is their bread and butter. But when you've got a sinker and a changeup like his, you're going to strike his share of batters out.
Here's the Royals' second hit. And Goodwin thought about trying to stretch it into a double. That would not have been a good decision. And the Royals have their leadoff man on for the first time today.
This is what you do. There's a sense of urgency when you play the game of baseball, especially if you're a professional getting paid. Goodwin, nice stroke. That's his best swing right there. Watch him at first base. You make that outfielder stop you. He was going for 2 all the way. If the ball rolls up the outfielder Brantley's arm, he continues into second base. That's how you run the bases. Put the bat down, you become a base runner. Give it 100%. Don't slow up around first base. Like take a routine single. Oh, yeah, I'll just take the single. Look for 2 all the ways, always.
It's a double until the outfielder tells you otherwise.
Thank you. Play the game. That was great by Goodwin. Loved it.
And if it's a double, then it's a triple until the defense tells you otherwise.
No question. That's how you attract attention too. Young players want to get noticed. Hustle.
Now Goodwin's running. Swung on and missed. The throw was like a cutter. That throw took a cut to the left on its way to second base. So Eric Haas, catcher, probably had a goofy grip on it.
Good one, good jump. He's checking back to see if Escobar was able to make some contact. Goodwin saw the ball get by him and decided, I'm not going to chance it. It's his first steal as a Royal. I'd like to see more of those from him.
And now a bunt, and it will roll foul.
Like to see that part of Goodwin's game. Phillips, the new players, they have the speed, get comfortable stealing bases so you can add to Merrifield and Mondesi. There's more weapons, more threats. Get comfortable stealing, just go. Heck, even though not this situation, see if Essie can get him over.
Great job.
Yeah, did himself up.
It's not the best case scenario, but if he's going to make an out, he needs to advance the runner, and he did. And now Goodwin's at third with one away.
And you know, you see his teammates over there. Escobar, look at that. He's giving some love for doing the job right.
And now Phillips will try to get him in. Lindor just went to the mound. He's still there. He was there for a long visit. So long that home plate umpire Bruce Dreckman is going to charge the Indians with a mound visit.
Pick him up. Less than two. Infield back. Do what it takes. That's okay. He got fooled on that one. That made him look like he had a long swing. But just shorten it up and try to get a little, any kind of little small rolling ball like that's going to get the job done. That's what you want to do. Shorten the swing. Pick up the ribby.
1 ball, 1 strike. How about a triple? And if the Royals hit a triple in today's game, the Kansas City Honda dealers will make a $1,000 donation to the KC Urban Youth Academy. One ball, 2 strikes.
Now this is what you call a 2-strike approach. This is, do you have one? If you don't, work on one. You want to shorten up your swing and put the ball in play by the pitcher. Just don't hit it back to the mound.
Laid off at this time. And I'd imagine one of the things that Brett is going to work on during the offseason is what you talked about, putting bat on ball more often and on the ground so he can use his legs.
One thing I would suggest is one thing that they don't do a lot in the modern game anymore, the modern players, play pepper. Go out in the backyard, you can, in the offseason, find a field, find 4 or 5 fielders and have them lob the ball up to you and just try to hit it back to the next guy. Have fun. You get used to making contact that way. It doesn't have to be a ball right down the middle. That's a good little exercise to help with your bat control and to have fun.
And meanwhile, your buddies are working on their fielding.
They're catching the ball, right?
That's a good comeback. Down 1 and 2. He takes a walk. And that'll bring up Valoria. It's Carrasco's second walk. Mabry's struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. He was part of a couple Royals rallies last night. Drove in a run with 2 outs against Kluber in the 2nd inning. With 2 outs, he singled in the 4th and eventually came around to score. And then in the 7th inning, picked up his 3rd hit of the game. One and 0. Two balls, no strikes. And here comes pitching coach Carl Willis. It was going to be an abbreviated start for Carrasco today, similar to Corey Kluber last night. So Oliver Perez is warming up with Carrasco at 72 pitches.
It's probably encouraging Carrasco to, hey, get back down in the zone and have this young man hit into a double play. We're out of the inning. That's what he'd like. But Valoria, he has everything to gain, nothing to lose here. Look up, and if it's down off speed, leave it alone. Try to stay inside the ball, shoot to left. Unless it's up. If it's elevated, turn and burn on it. Gloria has really nice talent.
Back through the middle and an RBI base hit for Valoria. Well, you talked about what Carl Willis had to say, which was just simplifying your approach. And Valoria looked like he simplified his approach there.
Sure did. Got the ground ball, but there it is again. Look at the natural bat flip. Yeah. That's a beauty. Nobody defending there. Royals looking for another hit, especially from Witt. Stepping in, keep the streak alive, and score a run. Phillips at second base. He'll score on any base hit. Most likely.
No balls, 1 strike. He's our sprint trivia question. Witt could become just the 3rd player since 1945, so the 3rd player since the end of World War II to lead the major leagues in both hits and stolen bases. Who are the other 2? I didn't realize that list was so small. No balls, 2 strikes. Now a hit here has big meaning. Number 1, it gives him a 20-game hitting streak for the first time in his career. Number 2, Freddie Freeman is out of the game in Atlanta, and Witt and Freeman were tied for the major league lead in hits. So if Witt gets a hit before this game is over, that about locks up the hit portion of wanting to add to that list. And he offered at that pitch, and he's down on strikes for the 2nd time today, and he's 0 for 3.
Ooh, man. He didn't want to do it, and he did. Carrasco, he's a strikeout pitcher. We talked about it. A lot of pitches, good pitches. Above average.
Trey Turner, by the way, does not have a stolen base yet, so Witt still has an advantage by 1 over Turner.
That's right, because all the teams are playing at the same time today.
Now let's see if Mondesi can get yet another big hit.
Oh,
and it's up the middle and almost hit the bag, and Lindor throws him out. Ooh. So he didn't hit it hard, but he almost hit second base, and the inning is over. The Royals get a run on Valoria's RBI. It is 2-1. Here are some of the defensive gems from 2017. Alex Gordon. There's a whole highlight reel of those from him. Home runs that were taken away by Rosell Herrera in Houston and Brett Phillips in New York shortly after he became a Royal. And how about Salvador Perez at first base with a little Harlem Globetrotters to Heath Fillmyer.
It was awesome.
Mabry's Valoria drives in a run for a second straight game, so now it's 2-1, and Brian Flynn is a Chevy call to the bullpen as Eric Skoglund goes 5 and gives up 2 runs, 1 earned.
Flynn to win. Hopefully he'll get some run support there and he can carry it a few innings. Sinker, slider, curve, change.
He'll get Encarnacion, Donaldson, and Diaz. 3 powerful right-hand batters. No swing. Encarnacion is singled and struck out swinging. Two balls, no strikes. Line and caught by Mondesi. I bet he felt that.
Especially if it wasn't in the webbing.
Let's go to Joel.
It's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's check in on the Cubs and the Cardinals. Cubs were trailing in this one 2-0. They have come back. Anthony Rizzo double scores Javier Baez to make it 3-2. Jason Hayward knocked in one more. So it is Cubs 4-2 in the 5th. The Brewers are up 3-0 in the middle of the 6th. Again, if both of them win, they'll play tomorrow at Wrigley Field. Winner gets the division. Loser will play in the wild card. And on the other side, guys, this is done. I mean, I guess you never say never, right? The Dodgers are up 14-0 over the Giants in the 6th. The Rockies are up 7-0 over Washington in the 6th. So it looks as though they will finish tied for first and will play tomorrow, game 163 at Dodger Stadium. Winner gets the division, loser the wild card.
Whoa.
You know, we talked about this last night and why Major League Baseball wanted all the games to start at the same time. 3:15 Eastern, 2:15 Central, 1:15 Mountain, 12:15 Pacific. The funny thing about it, though, is I'll bet Dave Roberts and Bud Black would love to take their regulars out right now with a big lead.
Exactly.
But there, as Joel said, you never say never.
That's right.
I mean, any other game, you're up 7-0 or 14-0 and you start to take guys out. But there is way too much on the line to tempt fate.
Way too much. And what a big difference between a divisional playoff and a wild card. One game.
That's well hit to center field. And Goodwin is back to the track. And it hits the bottom of the wall. Donaldson is still running about 75%. And he's at second base with 1 out. Let's go back to Joel.
Yeah, I guess, Ryan, I don't know what the number is. Maybe when you've scored 2 touchdowns and you're pitching the shutout, it's okay. So Dave Roberts has brought in some of his substitutions. Some on the other side for Bud Black. No one has been replaced except for the pitcher at 7-0.
I guess things are a little more predictable in San Francisco than they are in Denver.
No doubt.
So the Giants aren't much of an offensive team. It's not an offensive ballpark, so a little safer in San Francisco. Denver, however,
that lead can change in a heartbeat.
Outside to Diaz. Adam Rosales has taken over at second base for Donaldson. So Donaldson gets 3 at-bats as a final playoff tune-up. And now it's 2-0 on Diaz. There's Trevor Bauer. So he'll come on for Carrasco. It was the other way around on Tuesday. Bauer started the game. And then Carrasco came on for 4 1/3. Down and away, 3 balls, no strikes. Diaz with his walk and his double today is 7 for 13 with 2 doubles, a triple, and a home run against the Royals this year. And he's on with another walk. As we're wrapping up season number 50 of Royals baseball and looking back at some of the highlights. How about 4 years ago today, while we're on the topic of wild cards?
Oh.
4 years ago today.
What a beautiful hit.
And it's appropriate that George was shown there, not just by being a Royals icon, but it was on this date in 1992 that George Brett got base hit number 3,000.
Wow.
So it was meant to be.
No doubt about it. Let's check him out.
Oh, wicked hop. I think that was Ken Oberkfell, was it? Second base for the Angels.
It was, and Tim Fortuno was the pitcher.
His teammates came pouring out of the dugout. And he got to do it in Southern California, where he grew up. Here's Goodwin, and he'll take care of Melky Cabrera. You know, and the Milkmen are here to wish their buddy good luck in the playoffs. You know, Paul Splittorff, I would introduce him as the Royals' all-time leader in wins, and he would always point out, I'm also the all-time leader in losses. So the little light side to the great accomplishment. And tying it into George's 3,000 hit. George will be quick to remind you that he got picked off right after he got his 3,000 hit.
Well, Fortuno had great move. he had a Bob McClure move.
So I know I've asked George a few times, you know, what other details do you remember about that 3,000 hit? Well, I remember I got picked off right after that.
The stories are awesome.
That gets through Valoria. So 2 are in scoring position for Kipnis on a wild pitch uncorked by Flynn.
Gloria sees it coming and just couldn't get the glove down.
And now 3 balls and no strikes on Kipnis. Brian already has a 4-pitch walk, and of his 16 pitches, 12 have been out of the strike zone.
Yeah, a little bit off. Like to get back in there, get this count, especially with the lefty. Flynn's had a good season. He's been solid, been healthy. He's got the 2nd most games for a reliever besides McCarthy. He's got 48. This is his 48th game. McCarthy has 64 for the relievers.
And as Dayton Moore was with us earlier, talking about the bullpen next year, do the Royals see the same role for Brian Flynn, or do they move him in a spot more high leverage situations?
Well, he pitches to contact, and he's a ground ball pitcher, so sometimes the hits roll through, sometimes they don't.
That's Ben Lightly.
Lefties have a 287 average on Flynn, couple home runs. Righties 299, 3 home runs, so he keeps the ball in the park. Big strikeout there.
Getting around a double and a walk.
chance to hit for your seats. That's right. And receive 3 months parking free. Once you renew your package, you'll have the opportunity to take some swings at the K. If you hit a homer, your 2019 package is free. All season ticket members that renew before October 26th will receive March, April, and May parking free next season. How about that? Visit Royals.com/STM to renew now.
So here's Trevor Bauer and a Chevy call to the bullpen. And it'll be Salvador Perez, Ryan O'Hearn, and Rosell Herrera.
Bauer's been good. Great numbers. Solid season. Too bad he had to fracture his foot.
On a line drive by Jose Abreu. This is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Melanie Haywood from Kearney. Salvi chops it out to third, and Rosales is across the diamond in time. Salvi is 0 for 3. So Rosales stays in there after running for Donaldson in the top half of the 6th inning. Ryan O'Hearn has flied to left and flied to deep center. Two balls, no strikes. It was the middle of August when Jose Abreu hit a line drive off of Bauer's right leg. That's the first time he's been on the disabled list as a big leaguer. That's well hit to left, but Brantley fades back and makes the play.
Well, you know, Bauer, he's a guy that really takes care of himself. He's up to date on all the new technologies there are for training. You know, so it's going to take something like that to get him out of the rotation. It wasn't his fault.
And if you asked him, he'd probably tell you that he was born to play baseball. Stories about him wearing baseball pants to elementary school.
Nice.
That's all he would think about. And he studied baseball, or at least he studied how to physically improve and endure in baseball, which will tell you why he hasn't been on the disabled list other than a line drive off of his leg. He used to throw waterlogged baseballs when he was a kid to make him heavier, to build some arm strength.
Nice.
He and his father read about how Cuban baseball players would throw coconuts. And so he would throw a softball and they'd drive some nails in it to make the softball a little bit heavier. I mean, that's things that guys don't usually start doing until they become professionals. And
Man, that's
he was doing that when he was a kid.
Way out of the ordinary.
Three balls, one strike on Herrera. And now we'll see how he pitches coming out of the bullpen in a playoff situation. That's Barnes out in right field, and he runs down the line drive. So the Royals go down in order. They did have 2 line drives to the outfield. 2-1 Cleveland. was able to get through 5 innings. He threw a lot of pitches, and there were a lot of base runners, but he gave up just 2 runs. 1 was earned because of his error, and handed it over to Brian Flynn in the 6th inning. And there they are chatting with Heath Philmeyer. And now in the 7th inning, Ben Lively will get the 9, 1, and 2 hitters.
Okay, Ben Lively getting one last look. 4-pitch mix, hard 2-seam running fastball. It got a little sink to it. Slider, curve, change.
Haas is grounded out and popped out. Oh, and 2. Cleveland got a run in the first on an error by Escobar, not catching a throw from Veloria on a steal of third. Francisco Lindor on his way to third, and Veloria throwing down there, and Escobar just missed it. So Lindor scored, and then Lindor homered in the third to make it 2-0. And then Veloria drove in a run in the bottom of the 5th. Good start for Lively. And there's one down in the 7th inning.
Got some deception, a little drop and drive action, but that slider just said, here, you know what? Hit it if you can. Stayed in the middle. He missed it.
A strike on Lindor. He reached on an error by Skoglund. Stole second, and then the error to score the run in the first, a home run in the third, and a walk in the 5th. This is the only time he's come to the plate so far today where he has not been leading off an inning. Oh, and 2. Well hit to center, and Goodwin to the track to make the catch. 2 outs. Refreshing saves from Price Chopper and Aquafina. Sign up at mypricechopper.com/saves to save on Aquafina when the Royals get a save. Michael Brantley is 0 for 2. He's been hit by a pitch. And with a wide open left side of the infield, Brantley rolls one into left, and he's on with 2 outs. And talking about the bullpen next year, we get a chance to see a lot of Ben Lively. This is just his 5th game as a Royal. Brantley's going to come out for a pinch runner.
Yeah,
he has spring training may determine where he'll be next year.
There's going to be a lot of competition. That's what Dayton said. A lot of arms they're going to bring in. They'll evaluate and figure it, go from there.
Rajai Davis at first, and a strike to Jose Ramirez. He flied out 3 times against Eric Skoglund. One and 1. One ball, 2 strikes. Ramirez and Lindor both have 80 extra base hits for a second straight year. Teammates with 80 or more extra base hits in consecutive seasons. The last time that was done was the mid-30s. Joe DiMaggio and Lou Gehrig in 1936 and 1937. The last time two teammates each had 80 or more extra base hits in back-to-back seasons.
They feed off each other a lot like Merrifield and Mondesi. Of course, a little bit higher level and more consistent and larger sample size. Internal competition really does stir. It stirs it.
Ramirez is down on strikes. So a scoreless inning for Ben Lively. So he gives up 1 run in 5 2/3 as a Royal this month. And we will stay here for the last 7th inning stretch. And let's go down to the field, and this is Maurice Roper.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Next year, we will start even earlier, and it'll be against the White Sox here at Kauffman Stadium. Interleague will shift to the NL East. The Royals will still play the Cardinals, and we will go to Omaha, which the Royals were supposed to do this year at the end of spring training for an exhibition game. Next year, it'll be a regular season game.
Hey, now
against the Tigers.
Stakes are higher. Haven't seen the new Atlanta Braves Stadium. That'll be fun.
1-1 on Brian Goodwin. He also led off the 5th inning and singled. He stole his first base as a Royal, and Maybreeze Valoria got him home with a single. This is Trevor Bauer's 2nd inning. Grounded right to Ramirez, and there is 1 out.
The stage is set. The lights are on as baseball's next generation chases October's crown. The Major League Baseball postseason begins October 2nd. Go to MLB.com/postseason for the full schedule. But that man and his team will be a part of it.
And now Escobar. And I hope he gets on. And I wonder if Ned Yost then would bring him out of the game.
Sure would hope so.
Or maybe he still wants his glove in there in a 2-1 game. In the air to shallow center field. And Ramirez makes a play. Esky's 1 for 3 today. Terry Francona, by the way, the Indians have the best record in the major leagues since he took over, or the American League. Best record in the American League. Only the Dodgers have a better overall record since he became manager. They are going to the postseason for the 4th time in his 6 years. And he's been American League Manager of the Year twice since going to the Indians. Phillips is out. And the Royals are down quickly in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cleveland still leads 2-1.
For our final Boulevard Royals Live of the year. Hard to believe.
Hard to believe. Would love to see him get a couple runs late, pull this thing out. But I know one thing: these guys play great baseball the last couple of months. They may not mind starting the season early next year.
Well, they will start it in March, but the off-season is about ready to begin. We'll break down the 2018 season and this game coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Guys?
All right, Joel and Monty. Well, I was done with Ben Lively's season before he was. He's back out there for the top of the 8th inning.
Okay.
After a scoreless 7th. Delayed call and a strike on Edwin Encarnacion. He is 1 for 3. One and 1. Encarnacion is 107 RBIs, which is 3rd in the American League. And he goes the other way. Doesn't do it very often, but he rolls it through a wide open right side of the infield, and that's his 2nd single today. Well, we haven't guessed on our sprint trivia question. Witt has got an at-bat coming up in the bottom of the 8th, which may be his last. If he gets a hit, And he holds off Trey Turner in the stolen base category. Just the third player since 1945 to lead the major leagues in hits and stolen bases. He will become the first Royal to lead his league in hits and stolen bases this year. But there are only two since 1945 to lead both leagues.
Oh, so I thought they kind of threw that number out there of the year to kind of throw us off a little bit. My first thought was maybe Jackie Robinson. If you're going to go way back to an athlete, but hasn't been done since.
No, the two have been since 2000. So they tried to throw us off with the 1945.
Okay.
Which is also true.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all right, let's see. Steals and hits.
Well, I know one.
What's that?
What about Altuve? I mean, he had 200
call.
hit seasons, and he's led the league a couple
Yeah.
of times in stolen bases.
Okay.
Jose Altuve. Strike
Okay,
one.
How about future Hall of Famer Ichiro?
Ichiro Suzuki.
Ding, 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 ding.
That away, Hud.
Well, the guy can, you know, he's had a phenomenal career. When he first got here, I mean, he just raked, ran at will. He's like Mondesi kind of.
That's the third strikeout for Ben Lively. One down in the 8th inning. Yonder Alonso is going to bat for Yandy Diaz. Yonder for Yandy.
Sounds like a good swap.
Yandy had 2 walks and a double today. Yonder is 3 out of 6 with 2 RBIs in this series. Holtzy's in rare form today. Holtzy hasn't been in the booth with us for a while, so I mentioned Yonder for Yandy, and he pointed out that Jan is injured at the moment.
He is. Hey, you know, our gain today, but the truck, our teammates that sit out there and put all this stuff together for you fans, it's their gain that Holtzy's been out there. I guess it's for us overall win.
What about another current Seattle Mariner? 3 balls, 1 strike. D. Gordon.
He can rack up the steals.
And he had a 200 hit season last year or the year before
With the Marlins.
the Marlins.
Call him. Run him up the pole.
D. Gordon.
Ding, 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 ding. Did we get it?
We did. Well, I'm glad that they got rid of 1945 because that helped a lot.
That was messing with me, son.
Yeah. Wow.
Witt, fantastic. He's going to have another AB coming up.
The first 2 were Honus Wagner and Ty Cobb. Prior to 45.
Uh-oh.
Witt's having some fun with Encarnacion after the walk, making sure that Encarnacion wasn't going to round second and head to third, but I don't think he was going to do that. There have only been 6, by the way, in Major League history. So Witt could be just the 7th if he gets a base hit in his last at bat.
Oh,
and I imagine that that's not counting ties. Ties would work too. All right, so maybe he doesn't even have to get a base hit.
all right. Congratulations.
Two on, 1 out. And Greg Allen is coming up.
MLB At Bat is your #1 Royals app. Get Royals home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
First at bat today for Greg Allen. Switch hitter. Took over in center field last inning. He does not have speed on the bases at all, with Encarnacion at second and Alonso at first. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, as Terry Francona starting to take some of his regulars out, get them off of their feet, and get through today without injury. Grounded foul. I was talking to some members of the Indians broadcast team, and you could understand if there was a little bit of panic back home right now. The Indians are not playing well. Their bullpen is not playing well. They have good hitters that are not finishing strong. But another take on it would be that maybe they've been playing the last couple of weeks not wanting to get hurt.
Interesting.
And we've discussed that during the series, that they have had such a big lead for so long. I mean, it was a foregone conclusion a long time ago that they were going to win the division. And just 2 years ago, they went to Game 7 of the World Series, so they know what lies ahead, and maybe they've been holding back just a little bit to make sure that they're healthy going into the postseason.
That's possible.
Yep.
You're not driven.
And it's not a lack of effort. Royals get the force on Alonso. It's not to be confused with a lack of effort.
No, it's a mental thing.
Yeah, it's
no question.
It's going, and I'm just making this up, but it's going 90% or 95 or 85, whatever, by being careful, not because you don't care.
Yep. Well, Gomes is so fortunate he has just a couple of stitches. He could have busted his thumb. There could have been a whole lot of problems with that one. They dodged a big one there. Sometimes when you play like that, you get injured. So hopefully they'll get through here the last few innings without any problems.
Barnes hits it out to Phillips. So 2 scoreless innings for Ben Lively. He's given up 1 run in 6 2/3 this year.
Merrifield has done it all year long. That inside-out swing never gets old or tired of watching. He's had a fantastic season, even better than last year. A lot of people thought it was a fluke, but not Witt. All we need now, and he needs, is one more hit. Witt. You got to have it. Keep the streak alive. That would take it into the offseason and into next year, and would have the most hits of anyone in the grand game this year. No pressure, though. How many times during his streaks, what have we seen him? How many? 4 times of 12 or more? Okay, that's impressive. And how many times have we seen him do it in the first at bat? He gets that hit, that first hit. And rarely do we see him go all the way down to his last, with so much on the line here against a very difficult pitcher, Bauer. Trevor Bauer getting some work in. They'll probably use him out of the pen, depending on what Francona thinks and the health of their staff. But he's got fastball, slider, change, curve. He's got some really wicked stuff.
Two and two on Valoria. He's driven in the Royals run. 3-2. Witt has quite a bit of experience against Trevor Bauer. Valoria grounds it sharply. It's backhanded by Alonso, who threw it to Bauer about 1 step off the mound. Not sure if he was ready for that right away, but it worked. And so here's what may be Witt's last shot. He is tied with Freddie Freeman for the most hits in the major leagues. Trey Turner to this point does not have a stolen base, so he has a 1 stolen base advantage over him, but a chance to be the outright hit and stolen base leader in the major leagues and extend his hitting streak to a career high 20 games. Slider is outside for ball 1.
No pressure.
That will land in the seats.
Last year in his outstanding season, he had 169 hits, but he hit 288. So this will be, he needs to be congratulated for hitting over 300 this year for the first time in his career. That's a big accomplishment for a player. You know, 1 strike. Why not drop a bunt down? Look at Rosales at third. He's creeping in. He sees it possible too. Two strikes. Why not try it?
A bunt?
Yeah. A square.
No way.
Look where Rosie is. He's all the way back.
No.
Why not? You increase your chance of getting a base hit.
With 2 strikes?
Why not? Just take your time, square around. All right, got a piece of it. Heck, I've got many base hits with 2 strikes.
Yeah, but you didn't have this on the line.
Right, but this right here is an easier opportunity to square around and just bunt it, and he walks into first.
Two and two.
Bauer's not making it easy on him. He's spinning the ball. He's got a high spin rate, by the way. Yep, nothing straight.
Grounded.
him a straight one. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Congratulations. Wow.
Seventh player all time in a full season, leading the major leagues in hits and stolen bases, and he did it with 2 strikes in what may be his last at bat, maybe not.
I didn't think Bauer was going to throw him anything straight. He kept hooking him, and he was throwing the slider. He's getting him to swing out of the zone. That's why I started thinking maybe he should just bunt, because they're a little easier to bunt those, but no. Gave him it right down the middle, and he didn't miss it.
Now keep an eye on him running. Not just to ice the stolen base lead, but to get a runner in scoring position for Mondesi. He's also just one of 7 Royals to have a 20-game hitting streak or more. So you don't want to overlook that accomplishment. Big rip by Mondesi. And now even Yonder Alonso is impressed.
Why not? That's a rare feat. Big congratulations.
They are in the 8th inning in Colorado, and the Rockies are up big 9-0. And it looks like Trey Turner is going to get one more at bat. And there he goes. Mondesi swings and misses, and the throw is going to end up in center field. So that about ices the stolen base title, because now Witt has a 2 stolen base lead, and Trey Turner is going to get only 1 at bat. So he would have to get 2 stolen bases in a 9-0 game.
There's the base hit, clean and crisp, and why not make it up the middle? A well-struck ball, fantastic. Last opportunity for him, and here comes the crowd. Hope he tips his cap.
Well, they're not done cheering. And now Salvi. Deep to left field, not deep enough. That was another accomplishment we were keeping an eye on. One of the best seasons in Royals history.
Congratulations. Well done, multi-hit Witt.
Sports Kansas City is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. Hungry for legendary pizza and chicken? It's Pizza Ranch for the win. And by Ford, going further so you can. And Whit Merrifield goes further into the record books. He is the first Royal to just lead the American League in hits and stolen bases. But in 2018, he leads the major leagues in hits and stolen bases. He's got the hits locked up, and we'll just keep an eye on Trey Turner in Colorado. His team is down 9-0. Turner will lead off the top of the ninth, and if he gets on, I doubt he's going to steal 2 bases in a game like that.
Probably not. Let's hope not.
Kevin McCarthy will pitch the 9th inning.
Oh, you know, I couldn't help it when I couldn't believe that Bauer, they gave him a good straight fastball to hit. Now it was down. It wasn't like it was up. Couldn't believe it.
One ball, 2 strikes on Eric Haas. Skoglund went 5 and gave up both runs. 1 was unearned. Flynn went 1 inning. Ben Lively went 2 innings. And McCarthy begins the 9th inning with a strikeout. Rosell Herrera comes in from right field, and he'll play second base. Jorge Bonifacio ran for Merrifield in the 8th inning, and Jorge goes out to right. Grounded out to Mondesi, and there are 2 down in the 9th inning. There's nobody warming up in the Indians bullpen, so Trevor Bauer will try and finish it out. That'll be his 4th inning of the day, and the Royals have O'Hearn, Herrera, and Goodwin. And if anybody gets on, Alcides Escobar. And today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. 0-1 on Rajai Davis. Line to center field. Goodwin is there. So it's a quick top of the 9th for McCarthy. Is there any Kauffman Stadium magic left? We're about to find out. 50 years season ticket holders and 90 years old today. What a happy birthday. We're glad they're here.
Phenomenal. Congratulations to you, beautiful people. Keep coming. Bring us another championship.
And if you turn 90 at Kauffman Stadium, you get a ribbon.
That's pretty cool. Take it and like it. Thanks for your long-time support.
So the Royals are down by 1. Bottom of the 9th, O'Hearn, Herrera, and Goodwin. If anybody gets on, Alcides Escobar. Wouldn't it be sweet for Esky to come up with a big hit in the bottom of the 9th?
Sure would.
Salvador Perez unfortunately made the last out of the 8th inning, trying to create a new major league record. Just have a home run increase in 7 straight years.
Just off the end of the bat.
2-0 on O'Hearn.
Maybe they can tie it up and give him another chance to hit.
That's pulled foul. Three balls, 1 strike. Among his 0 for 3 today, O'Hearn is flied to the warning track in center field and lined to left. And that's line to center. Coming up is Allen, and he made a sliding play. Boy, it's going to be tough to leave him on the bench if you get into the playoffs. Greg Allen in center field.
Better believe it. Hey, look, he may not be the accomplished hitter that Kipnis is, but he's a much better defender because of his speed. That's nice play. Look at how he had to turn his glove just the right way to be able to secure it. Solid center fielder.
And now 0-1 on Rosel Herrera. He's 0 for 3. And it gives us one last chance to say thank you to our great crew. There are many members. Some are out doing football this weekend, so it's hard to thank everybody, but especially the traveling portion of our crew. Our director Steve Kurtenbach, our associate producer here Dave Holtzman. He's got his sunglasses on today because KU lost. Good to see you, Holtzy. Our associate producer of baseball information, Dave Holtzman, to my left, and does outstanding research for us every single day.
Every day.
Also up here on our broadcast booth row, our stage manager, Doc Carruthers. That way, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
He is to HUD's right. He is HUD's security guard in addition to our stage manager.
Get in there.
Off of Ramirez's chest, and the Royals have the tying run on in the 9th inning. That's a base hit.
And the reason that is that's what they call an in-between hop. That's a hop in front of you that most infielders go, oh no. And you don't know what to do. But he did the right thing. You keep your chest in front of it, knock it down. That's all you can do. That is base hit all the way. Ouch, that hurt.
All right, before the Royals win this, let's also thank producer Kevin Cedergren.
Yes.
Associate producers Al Broughton, our graphics producer, Sam Abramson, our video and replay producer. Here's Brian Goodwin, and he takes a strike. Also up here on our row, and just to our right is our good buddy, high home camera operator, Ron Swan, who's been on our level for a long, long time. That away, Swanee.
He's here every day.
It's 0-2 on Brian Goodwin and Casey Carter, our producer of Royals Live pregame, postgame. I got a letter from Royals fans, Hamp and Sarah Lynn Smith in Dodge City, and they said, basically, we've been hearing these names all season long. Can you show us what they look like?
Oh,
so
fantastic.
thanks for the letter.
Yes.
Hamp and Sarah Lynn.
Way to go. That's awesome. Wish we could get the guys in the truck.
Yeah.
I mean, get a camera in there. Oh, well.
Well,
next year.
Yeah. We don't want to give them too much too soon.
Okay. Thanks for the letter. Now find a hole.
Bauer gets a strikeout. His second, and here's Alcides Escobar. In 2015, he was an all-star. He won a Gold Glove. He was the ALCS MVP against the Blue Jays. Alcides Escobar. No balls, one strike. And when the next Royals Iron Man comes along, we'll be talking about his 421 consecutive game streak, which ended on July 18th and was the longest current streak in the major leagues. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sid Bauer, he's not about to give him anything straight, but we said that with Merrifield, so if he does, be ready for it. Outfield, the backs are scraping the wall. Any doubles, they want to be able to get it in quickly. Herrera guarding the line at third.
2 balls, 1 strike. Eske already has a hit today. So he finishes this season with an 8-game hitting streak. Alex Gordon goes to the on-deck circle. He'll hit for Brett Phillips if we get that far. Eske is talking to himself as he awaits this 2-1 pitch from Bauer. Two and two. Grounded back to Bauer, and he will flip to first. That's the ball game, and that is the 2018 season. Francisco Lindor scored both runs for the Indians. He scored on a throwing error in the first, and he hit a home run in the third. And the curtain comes down on the Royals 2018 season. And we wish the Cleveland Indians the best. They're a class organization led by Terry Francona, and we hope that they represent us well in the first round of the playoffs at Houston.
Absolutely. Good luck to him. Fantastic human being, that man right there, and an excellent manager.
Let's go down to the field, and here's Joel.
All right, we don't usually do this after a loss, but it was such a first off, a great finish for the Royals the last couple of months, and then spectacular run here for Whit Merrifield. Before I ask you about the streak and the moment, what can you say about this group of teammates and this organization and the way you've played the last couple of months?
I'm excited where we are moving forward. We got a group of guys in here that really love each other, really play hard every day, and we got some talent. We got some talent that a lot of people don't know about. So I'm excited where we are. I'm excited the way we finished, and I'm excited for next year. So we'll be ready for spring training and ready to take on next year.
All right, let's talk about the hit. And you end the season with a career best 20-game hitting streak. You're going to have the most hits, the most stolen bases in the league, and it looks like in baseball too. Tell me about that moment, what it meant to you, and the ovation.
It would have been nice if I did it the first at bat, wouldn't it? But that's no fun. But it was special. I knew what was at stake today. It took me out of my approach a little bit. I was a little amped up, but what a blessing this was to even be in this opportunity, and I was just so fortunate and so happy that I took advantage of it, because stuff like this doesn't come around too often.
No, a historic season for you and certainly Royals and in baseball. Congratulations on the team's success and the strides that you guys have made the last couple of months. We can't wait to see you in 2019.
Thank you, guys. See y'all next year, all right? See y'all next year.
There you go, Whit Merrifield, fan favorite for quite a few reasons.
There have been 7 players in Major League history who have been the outright hit and stolen base leaders in the major leagues, and Whit Merrifield is one of them. We'll be right back.